while eating tacos, but how did that shift for you? Because there was a shift, like a foodie to now being a voice of like educating and informing us of our rights, but also, hey, how to protect yourself. How did that whole transition happen?
It was very instinctual. It wasn't like there was no thought to it. It just kind of like, I don't know, like see, for a long time I had my Twitter when Twitter was good. Now not X with Elon Musk, but for a long time I had the Twitter and then I had my Instagram account, and I realized that the crowds can't handle both. Right? People on Instagram, all they want to do is food content. They don't want me talking anything about local issues or politics. And then people on X, they loved my commentary on politics and all that stuff. So I would cover local politics and commentary on that on X, and then Instagram was just food. And I remember when this happened, I think all of us at the team, there was no meeting, there was nothing like it was just like, because we've been covering food for so long, we've had built these ties with like communities all over the place, and not just food, like businesses, organizations doing good work around LA, just trying to give voice to the people and connecting with those voices from around LA. So when the can I curse? When the shit went down, I started getting flooded with messages from people all over LA. Oh, ICE is over here. They're over there. Hey, do you know who I can contact? Hey, my dad got picked up. Do you know a lawyer? Like, what should I do? Like, how do I track somebody? Like, So I just got flooded with messages from people all over LA. So I was like, okay. And so I would tell the team, like, hey, guys, we need resources. We need a list of resources. Can you guys help put a list of resources together? Yeah, so like Hadley, super resourceful. He's one of our co-founders. He went out there and started putting a list of resources together for LA Taco. And then people are like, we want to volunteer. We want to help. What can we do? I'm like, all right, let's put a list of all the organizations we know. And then we put a list of organizations people can go volunteer and help out or donate to. And then, hey, what should we do if people get stopped? Okay, let me do a video on that. Like, hey, we want to start these rapid response networks. How should we do it? Okay, let me do a video on that. So it just ended up being like where people were asking me all these questions and feeding me information at the same time, and then offering their services. So I was just able to just do everything connected and put it back out there, and take things and connect and put it back out there. And I found myself just kind of in this position naturally, like without even thinking about it. Just ran with it.
Let me ask you one thing that I thought I would never see. I mean, this is a podcast about manhood, masculinity, and men's healing. And one of the things I've always been taught is, you don't cry as a stereotypical definition of a man.
Yeah.
And if you do, you definitely don't do it publicly.
Mm-hmm.
And the last 12 months since the raid started, first time I would see Latino men and grandfathers publicly crying and seeing it on Instagram. And it hit me in such a deep way because I never thought I would never see that. But because of the terrorizing, it was almost acceptable. Like men got a pass to cry publicly because we all were in the sense of like despair and pain. You could relate to the pain of seeing your loved one being snatched and taken away. And you've been covering this. And so I've been wanting to ask you, like, how that, like, covering that has impacted you.
Yeah, it's completely true. I mean, I grew up in a super machista, household. My family's from Zacatecas. So it's kind of like the Texas of, Mexico, cowboy country, with, literally cowboy country. Never saw my dad cry. And my kids, even to this day, say they never see me cry. And it's kind of been and passed down to me. And like, I can feel like sometimes the emotions swell up, but something in me just like bottles that up. And so I know it's not healthy, but I've been using it as like a superpower or a talent so I can keep going through this.
And what's not healthy? The not crying?
The not crying and let the emotions out, As Latinos, like we don't have that kind of emotional maturity or emotional guidance from our parents because they didn't have it.
Right.
I remember I was going through my stuff recently. I moved, and I found a letter my mom wrote me in high school, and it said she said exactly that. She's like, I know we don't know how to handle our emotions, and we're terrible at it, but yada yada yada. But she mentioned that line, and I was like, acknowledgement from her about that. And but yeah, you know, like I don't know. I've had such a up and down life. I've gone through some really dark times in my life, and people ask me like, how do you deal with this? Like you asked, right? And for me, it's just like I remind myself of like, you know what? It might be traumatic to witness all these videos, and I've seen thousands of videos. I think every video out there from Southern California I've seen. I have about 5 terabytes worth of videos stored. And I always remind myself, it's like, you know, just viewing it and reporting on it is nothing compared to what they're going through. You know, what those families are, you know, experiencing. Having a loved one getting taken on Thanksgiving night, you know, or during a birthday, getting grabbed outside while they're, you know, throwing a birthday party for a girl. Or having your parents being ripped literally from in front of you as you're moving at a recycling center. Or while you're with, like, your dad and he's a street vendor and you go to, like, go to use the bathroom at the laundromat and you come out and your dad's gone. Shit like that, you know, it's like, all right, me reporting on this is nothing compared to that. And it's funny you mentioned like the men crying on these videos. You know, it's like I remember like you kind of expect in this society like for a woman to cry or a kid to cry, you know? So it's easier to observe and absorb that. But what really got to me was like when you saw men crying, you know, like that's tough. Like men crying for their kids, for their wives, getting ripped away from like outside of a prenatal care, taking their wives, literally their wives running into the clinic with their newborn, and them getting tackled outside, and a mother having to see her father while she's holding the baby, getting dragged into a vehicle. You're just like, fuck, you know? Like, and then the man crying. Or another man crying in another instance where he's like getting pulled and he's like, please, I just came to get medication for my wife. She just got home from the hospital. We just had a baby. You know, it's like that kind of shit really kind of fucks with you.
Yeah.
You know, so yeah. So it's tough. You internalize it, but I just converted it into fuel to keep doing what I'm doing. People ask like, how do you keep doing this every single day? It's like, gotta fight it somehow, man.
Yeah.
You know, my mental therapy is telling the truth and combating this for everybody.
Yeah.